Guys hear
until
me?
more people join. Yeah, man.
Noot.
Not. How's everyone
Not
today?
no.
Oh man, guys, I have traveled land and sea to be with you today. I have been traveling since 6 a.m. and has been what 14 hours of travels, but now I'm here on paradise of paradisiacal Iceland and ready to talk about Polis. Life can't get better than that.
Yeah, true. True. Are you close to the beach?
Yeah, the hotel is actually beside the beach. So from my room, I can see the waves, hear the sound of the ocean. Yeah, I'm having a nice day today.
Nice.
What's
Nice.
going
Are you having.
on, everybody?
Oh, is that
Yo.
Dominic?
Yeah,
Who
what's up,
is it?
Santi?
Hey,
Hey
Dominic.
man,
How
how
are
you
you, man?
doing?
I'm good. I'm
Hi,
good.
Santi. Hi, ZeSSK.
Hey
Hey,
man, how
friend.
you doing?
I
Hi
would love to
from
hear what
Brazil.
everyone is drinking today. This is the Atlas
Hello,
Brew.
hello, hello.
Hello,
Hey
person
man,
who said hello, and I'm drinking water again.
Water.
Same. I'm grabbing some water.
I'm having a caipirinha made from the
Oh,
source here in the beach.
that's nice, man. I'm having a good old coffee.
Yeah, it's the Moon Man here. I'm ready to go deep on this conversation.
Let's
Hey
go,
Hell
man,
Moon
yeah.
Man.
how you doing, bro?
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. How's everybody else doing?
Doing great.
Fine.
Great.
I guess we'll have some good moments today because Polish is such a rich subject that, well, it brings the best of our game and our project, if in my opinion, you know. We'll have plenty of time to uncover and leave no stone unturned until we get the full stance of the power of Polis.
That is true. Oh, let's wait until a few more people join. We are right on time, so let's wait until more people join us. Can you guys hear me well? Because I heard the recording of the last one, and I was cutting. So
That's
Yeah, you're
okay.
clear.
Yeah, you're
You're
great.
sounding crisp, my boy.
Yeah, we can hear
okay,
you good.
nice. Not as good as the Moon Man, but you can hear me well.
Thank you, thank you.
You
Man,
have a
this
nice mic, my man.
dude, I have a nice mic, but this mic is like it could be 10 times better because like it's so messed up. I actually got somebody coming by over the weekend of like the 26th, like an audio engineer, paying him to come over and get this right because it sounds good now, but there's so much distortion in all of my interviews. Like it's all messed up, and I'm not that type of guy to fix it, so it's gonna be better. But yeah,
Okay, man. Thanks for joining, man.
yeah, no problem, no problem.
Let us see if you can share some chaos today as well, my man.
Share some videos.
No, steer some chaos like you did with Hardaz and the Pirates on the our last Atlas
Oh
Brew.
man. Yeah. So about that, so not to take up too much time, but me and Bomber actually talked offline. He hopped on the Moon Man experience, and that episode will be coming out tomorrow. It's about 30 minutes, so definitely everybody tune in and watch that. We go pretty hard. It's cool.
I need to see that, man.
Nice, man.
You and Bomber are both legends. This video gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it was a great talk.
I will post an announcement and then we can start. I'm afraid to. I'm scared to break the the voice chat if I post an ad here, but I will do it anyways. If it breaks, we can go to the amphitheater in case it happens.
Awesome. Let's go.
We always got room in the amphitheater.
Yeah. This is better because it's like an open conversation, and I love it because anyone can just chime in and share the vision or add information and even ask questions. So I love this format, and we plan to have more events, more and more events here. If you guys like it, of course.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it bad
awesome.
to This will be hacked.
I don't like it.
We love it.
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
best being able to talk. Hell yeah.
Also, just to take following on Moonman's latest comment about piracy, there is. I don't want to say too much about it, but as you might all know, I'm very much involved with the Star Citizen community, and there's a conglomerate of pirate organizations and lawful organizations from Star Citizen that will make a huge move to Star Atlas pretty soon. I've been trying to educate them, a little bit on what Star Atlas is about, and we're talking about, orgs that are thousands of members in that are very much into moving into Star Atlas to start making foundation, and people that have also a lot of backbone with, subterfuge and spying and stuff like that from the time of Eve years ago. So that's going to be interesting. So I hope you guys are ready because it's going to get real.
That's
This
great,
is
man.
awesome, man.
Yo, I
I
knew that
love
time would
this.
come. I knew that time would come, and I was warning everybody, man. Wait till these teams that have played in other games and they're extremely structured come into Star Atlas. It's going to cause waves.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
cool
it's
stuff is that the pro level gaming in Star Atlas gonna be, mind blowing. Because, well, you take a game, for example, Dota or League of Legends. They are cool games, they have some cool mechanics, but Star Atlas is on a whole different level. And we are actually staking real money, real assets on many different folds. We have politics, we have economy, and all those subsystems like the political system, the economical system, the racing system, the fighting system, they are both very rich, very deep. They are programmed to be mind breaking and cut off the edge technology in any frontier, in any field of game expertise, game gameplay, the game in the game gameplay. Oh my god. So yeah, when you see those pro level people coming to us and start to bringing the pro level gaming to a high level quality gameplay that the startup is going to enable them to reach, guys, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, let me put it this way. I'm pretty sure to those that played Eve before, I think Santi is one of those, and he will be familiar with the names of the Band of Brothers and the Red Alliance. I was involved in relationships with those guys, and quote unquote, they say, imagine that we were able to stay until 4 o'clock in the morning, logging in and out of servers to fight for territory. Imagine what we will be able to do fighting for real assets that cost money. So they're coming. They will be coming hard. So this will open the floodgates to a lot of nice scenarios and back and forth in between lawful and unlawful guilds and organizations within Star Atlas, which I think will be only beneficial for us, that are interested in more the game side of things. So I'm super, super excited about it.
definitely, definitely. And I think that talks like this one are super important for newcomers and for people who are still skeptical about what Star Atlas is and NFT gaming like in general. So I think that doing things like this and inviting people from other games, for example, from Eve or from Star Citizen, uh, it gives them a good insight on what we are building and what we are doing. So I think that without further ado, we can get started here. This is the Atlas Brew. This is our weekly event where I'm co-hosting with the one and only Jose. Jose, how are you?
Hey Sandy, how's everyone? Glad to be here, man. Let's talk some Polis.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here, man. We couldn't do this without you. So, in the name of the whole community, we really appreciate you being here and sharing some knowledge with us. Let me tell you guys that there's no person that knows more about Polis in the community than Jose. So we have to be very happy to be able to learn from Jose. So again, thanks Jose, and yeah, appreciate you being here.
It's a pleasure, Sandy. I'm just another guy from the community who is passionate about this game, this project. We are together every day in Discord, and yeah, I think that's my way to help the project, to help the community, is to specialize on something that actually goes with my real life work. I actually worked on the Supreme Court of Brazil, and I saw how the political game worked there. And when I saw the system that Star Atlas proposed, the framework in which we could develop our relationships inside the game in a political manner, it just struck me. I need to do something. I need to help the community and everyone to, get aware about the possibilities and the richness of our game inside this political system. And that's about what we're gonna talk today about how the political system in Star Atlas sets a very interesting, profitable, and heavy framework for the entire gameplay, for the entire community to thrive on. And if you play your card right, maybe you may even become the emperor of our little metaverse.
Yeah, there's a lot to chat, especially about Polis. I don't think we even know the power of Polis. So I love that we can theory craft and think some years ahead of time in chats like this one. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I just want to check if someone is recording. Uh, if someone is recording, please confirm that you're recording in the Atlas Brew chat because I don't think that we are recording, right, Jose?
Yeah, I'm
I'm not
not
recording.
center. Yeah, same.
Okay, okay.
But
Benny
to
is
be said,
recording.
You're gonna
if we reach
have to
at the end
respond.
of the presentation, like no one recorded anything.
Okay, we have a few people recording. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's kick off this Atlas Brew number 2. We will speak about everything around Polis, the importance of Polis in the metaverse. What is Polis, and what can we do with Polis? What can we do right now, and what can we do in the future? Especially in the future. In these talks, we like to let our imagination free and theory craft about the future that we are going to live inside the Star Atlas metaverse. So there's no person who knows again as much as Jose about Polis. He will be co-hosting with me and sharing all his knowledge today. We will be talking here in the voice chat. If you have any questions, you first we will go through through our agenda that we built with Jose, but of course then we will everyone can chime in and ask questions, or even if you have any extra comments, you can just add to what we are saying. But yeah, that's mainly it. If you can't speak, you don't have a mic, and you want to ask a question or even to chat, we will be using during the call. We will be using the Atlas Brew chat that you can find in the discussion section, the category, the discussion category, here in some channels above. So everyone go to the Atlas Brew while we are talking to if you want to check the chat. And yeah, let me go a little bit through the agenda, what we have today, Jose, and then we can start talking. We divided it into 3 different segments. Hopefully, we can go through all of them. It's a lot. We know that it is a lot, but we will talk mainly about the concept of Polis, the supply of Polis, the difference between Polis and Atlas, and we will get a little bit into the regional DAOs, the Star Atlas DAO, and the faction DAOs, and then we will move to what a Polis in movement. What can you do with Polis? What will you be able to do with Polis? And then to finish, again, if we can go through all of this, there's a lot of information. We'll go through vision for Polis in the metaverse, the relationship between players and Polis and companies and Polis. So again, this is just an informative chat, educational. There's no financial advice here. We are just sharing information. And yeah, let's get started, Jose. What do you think?
Awesome, Sandy. Let's go. So yeah,
Let's go.
whenever we talk about police, just a second, guys.
Yeah, sure. No problem. As you as you guys may know, Jose was sharing previously that he's on a hotel. He's on vacation, so we really appreciate again more and more that Jose is here because he's on vacation and he's joining us from his hotel.
Yeah, yeah, and it's actually a really funny situation because the Wi-Fi here in the beach, as you can imagine, is not that really good. So I need to stay right next to the Wi-Fi router. So, and when some guests come and start talking, you guys can hear them at the end of the of my talk, no?
No, it sounds we can't barely hear it, so no worries.
Oh, awesome. So I'll get started. Sorry, guys. So yeah, basically, when we start talking about Polis, I like to separate it in two moments. First is Polis in abstract, the concept of the coin, the currency. And as we will see, I don't think that thinking of Polis as a currency way of exploring all its potential, because when we are talking about a currency, we are talking about a means of exchange, of trade. We are talking about a way to perceive and quantify value and to transform it in goods and services. Polis is not like that. The idea of Polis is to expand and transmit the concept of political power inside the universe of Star Atlas. It is like a citizenship's right. When we are talking about one police, we are actually talking about the right to vote, to speak, to propose motions, and to vote on those motions inside the universe of Star Atlas. So yeah, thinking about policy require a different frame than what we are used to do when we are talking about the currency of the game Atlas. And that there's a funny and interesting distinction between them because while Atlas will have a very broad use in commercial changes, like every good and service in the game will be quantified and tradable inside the currency of Atlas, Polis actually has some intensive use. It's not extensive as Atlas being a manner of trade for very many different kinds of transactions, but in terms of utility, it might have the most ample spectrum of uses inside the game. And why I say that? Because when we are talking about Polis, we are not talking about only one layer token. We are talking about the uses of police inside wars, the use of police in the politics, the uses of police in setting up laws in three different DAOs, which pretty much covers every possibility in Star Atlas. Metaverse, like you'll be able to condition the game and other players through the use of police, and especially because it's a very strong form of soft power inside the game. As you guys are aware, our economical paper has a fixed supply for the polis inside the game. We have 360 million polis, and unless a supermajority vote tries to change this, we'll have always this supply. So yeah, basically it's a very strong store of value. But the interesting thing about polis is that it has no cost of use. Like, imagine moving an armada, moving a fleet inside the game. There are all sorts of costs associated with this. You have the fuel costs, you have the depreciation of the asset through the voyage, through the field. You have to repair your ships, you have to buy ammo, you have the risk of losing your asset. And when we are using police, when you are talking about police as a means of use, it has no cost. You are not under risk when you use police to vote, to propose a motion, to perform a treaty. So yeah, police has this special property that allows you to do many different things in many different levels of the game. And well, at the end of the day, when we are talking about police, as we will see in detail later on in my presentation, we are talking about an asset that can basically rewrite the rules of the Star Atlas metaverse, which is, in my opinion, the strongest power that there is in Star Atlas. And it's very interesting because at the same time, Polis is the most undervalued asset in our game. Because people perceive Polis as a no-use coin. It's different from Atlas, right? If you don't read the economical paper, if you don't read the white paper, if you are not aware about the principles of the coin, people think that Polis is like a governance token of Infinity, which cannot be used to breed, you know? So yes, the players and the community is not aware about the possibilities of the token, and that depreciates its value. Although that, as we will see later on the presentation, those who have Polis will make the decisions, and those who doesn't have Polis will suffer the consequences of the decisions of the players with Polis. You know, um, yeah, that's a really good starting point in my opinion. Anyone has any specific question about the characteristics of Polis uh, inside the game, like in abstract, something to add to this point before we can move on to the use cases of Polis, to the capabilities of this token?
This
You
is your
guys can hear
moment,
me.
guys.
I have
Yeah, sorry, I was scared for a moment that I lost my Wi-Fi midway through
No,
my
no, no.
talk.
We hear you. We hear you. We hear you.
Oh, sorry.
How much
I only want to say
do you hold, Newt?
Let us see. Well, I guess my family and I holds about mm, 20,000 Polis.
Wow. He's serious about
Damn.
Polis.
whoa, that's a
Cannot relate. You got it like that?
There you go, folks.
Did you
That's
say you and your
insane, man.
family?
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
no.
Sheesh, I thought that
And
400 bucks was a lot.
and it's important to add that I own Polis, so guys, take my comments like someone who actually owns Polis, you know? I don't want anyone to go crazy buying Polis right now or to see that I own Polis or anything like that. I buy Polis because I want to be free inside the game. I want to be a relevant citizen of Star Atlas. And by acquiring Polis, I think that's the way for me be to do my project. You guys all know about Nutopia, about my dreams in Star Atlas. And the main tool of my political aspirations, if we may say, is Polis. So I'm not thinking about profits here. I'm thinking about the protection and the good use of my political strategy in game. So for me, Polis is very important in game. And I'm not talking as a financial advisor, and this is important. Don't go crazy buying Polis unless you have an actual idea of what you are doing with this, okay?
Exactly. It's always good to be clear about it. This is just an educational chat. We are sharing information, not financial advice at all. Always do your own research. Always.
Not financial advice.
Not. So yes, I guess the I can't see the chat because I'm on my cell phone right now.
I will
But
let you know if there are any questions.
awesome. So guys, yes, let
Can
us
Polis
talk.
be used to take taxes? Nope.
Yes, Polis actually, let us say, one of the strongest powers of Polis, in my opinion, is the power to task, to apply taxes to activities inside the game, inside the DAO, and even on the faction level. We'll reach this question when we talk about policy movements. I'll talk about some of the strategies that I'm seeing in our near future that will actually come into play whenever we have the different DAOs. But yes, the power to tax is really strong in a game based on land and property.
So do you think when people have a lot of Polis, do you think the planets with less taxes will be more populated or less populated?
That's a really interesting question. And it's not a on my opinion, of course, it doesn't have a really simple explanation for that. Because yeah, of course, who doesn't want to own land on a planet on a system that has really low taxes? But there is not such a thing as a maximum profit strategy in Star Atlas. The game is really beautifully designed to prevent this kind of movement, to prevent this kind of strategy. Because when we are talking about a system, let us say, that has low taxes, we are also talking about a system with less treasury. And a system with less treasury is a system that cannot invest so much in its own security, sorry. So yes, if you have an operation in this kind of a system, you are actually exposed to more or different attacks from other people. So yes, you need to balance this kind of things. And this is the beauty of the Polis game, because Polis is like real politics with steroids. When we are talking about Polis, we are talking about big movements inside the political framework of the game, which in turn conditions the economical gameplay, the military gameplay, the relationships, the metaverse gameplay, everything works under the song that the police game will play in the game. So and it's a really interesting feature of Polis because it's one of the few things that will actually have the power to bind and constrain players inside Star Atlas. Because the main theme of Star Atlas is freedom. It's exploration of space. It's the endless possibilities of you developing and thinking about your own future, your own missions. But there is this one thing, this one framework of the political level that actually will have consequences to you, even though you are not making a decision. You know, it's like there's one super structure inside the Star Atlas game that will actually affect you, even though you might not have a citizen rights, you don't even own Polis. And that's why I'm buying Polis, because I don't want to be irrelevant. I don't want others to decide for me what's gonna happen. I want to be a I want to be a vocal player, which will be able to promote motions, to propose stuff, and to fight for my rights and try to influence the outcome of the political game, which in turn, in my opinion, will condition all other layers of gameplay inside.
Newt, do you have any advice for the people who can't really buy 20,000 Polis, but they kind of want to have a place in the political field in Star Atlas?
That's actually a great question. And yes, I have the and that's something that I would like to talk at the end of the presentation, but since you mentioned it, you can advance on this thought. The really interesting thing about Polis is that you actually don't have to use this alone. You have your guild for that. And yeah, you don't need 20,000 Polis to influence the outcome of the game if you are part of a family which you can bound together and propose motions with them. And this is one of the interesting aspects of the game. We are a communitary game. We are not alone in the metaverse of Star Atlas. Or Polis, and some players don't buy Polis thinking that, wow, what can I do with 100 Atlas? But yeah, if you have 1,000 guild members, everyone has 100 Polis, well, you can actually own a few systems, a few regional DAOs only with your Polis. So yeah, a few Polis is really useful for you as a player since you will be seen as a relevant citizen for your guild. It's an important asset to have players with Polis for the guilds. Because the guilds, especially the big guilds, the ones that want to actually have an influence and impact inside the game, they need players with Polis to help them move forward their propositions, their agendas, their and we will see that the big movements in Star Atlas, especially regarding war and protection, will be done through the faction DAOs. Because, well, that is actually where the gold is in Star Atlas. The faction DAO's treasure will be something crazy. Right now, I have seen, just 2 days ago or something like that, our DAO, or Polis DAO uh, pool already has more than 3 million Atlas, $3 million in Atlas, like 80,000 Atlas, something like that. And guys, we are
Yeah, that's
only on
crazy.
score. We are only on score tier one. You know, we don't even have a cream. We don't have the basic. We just have the very basic Atlas burning systems, and the Polis DAO will capture all those feeds, assets, and stuff that will be burned through the game. You know, so yes, the big treasures, the big movers of the game, the big rewards, if you may say, will belong to the faction treasuries, to the regional DAO's treasuries. And that's what the big guilds will fight for. You can be 100% sure about that. The big treasure in the game will be won through governance of Polis.
Yeah, and the treasury will just keep getting bigger and bigger with the implementation of Score Tier 1 and then Cream coming. So it'll just keep on getting bigger and bigger, and Dax and the different factions will definitely fight for the control of the treasury for sure. I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, and imagine when the taxes on land start playing, the cost on transactions, every trade made in the different space stations will bring some Polis, some Atlas to the treasury of the DAOs. Guys, we are talking about something that might be worth millions and millions daily, you know? And people are not aware of that. People are not seeing that all this fight, they will be primarily fought with Polis. And then there is this fixed supply of Polis, you know? And when you buy one Polis, it means that someone else won't be able to get this one Polis. And the game start getting smaller and smaller. And when you think that 40% of all Polis belongs to the reward and emissions pool, well, the quantity just drops significantly. You know, the guys who actually own Polis right now will be the ones that will receive the most of the reward. Because I'm not sure if you guys checked the reward emission curve of the Polis reward pool, but the most of the rewards will be distributed in the first years of the pool. So yeah, if you are not in right now, you won't be able to receive the majority of the pool, of the rewards of the pool. So yes, today we will be talking about lots of alphas and details about the uses and abilities of Polis that I believe will bring some awareness about the importance of this asset inside our game scenario, you know? Because right now, when I join the guild chat and I see people discussing Polis, people are like, when stake? What Polis for? You know? And I like, not, my God, people are not seeing this. And yeah, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about the strategies. And I'm like really excited to go into the policy movement part. I don't know,
I think,
Santi. We
yeah,
can
yeah,
go
yeah,
there?
yeah. I think that something that people don't really understand are the different levels of governance inside Polis and the DAO and Star Atlas as a whole. So I think that we should like at least briefly cover regional DAOs, factional DAOs, and the Star Atlas DAO. There are three different levels inside Star Atlas. Do you think we can do that, Jose?
Awesome, Santi. Let's go then. Uh, Before we are going actually into the each level of DAOs inside Star Atlas, I would like to present the framework of the political power inside Star Atlas. Because I think it's really interesting and important for you guys to be able to imagine how the scenario, how the relationships between you, your guild, the regional DAOs, the factional DAOs, and the Star Atlas DAO will work inside the game. We all have lived our entire lives in countries where we have a centralized power governed by separation of powers. We have the legislative, we have the judiciary system, and we have the executive branch. In Star Atlas, things are quite different because, as Santi anticipated, we have three different levels of political governance, and more important for the daily life of the player, we have the regional DAO and your guild own DAO. And that's something really interesting because Star Atlas is full of the primary value of their creators, their philosophy. You see, as Michael, Pablo, and the rest of the team designed Star Atlas, they had something in mind. They had something in mind. They had a very, uh, a very found and important value of decentralization. They wanted this game power, the governance of meta or metaverse, to be uh, dispersed, to be pulverized through the different layers of the game, through the different players, the different guilds, the different DAOs. They didn't want concentrated power like the our state that we live in now, with one person being the leader of the nation and making the shots and barely being able to be questioned by a few parliamentaries, a few deputies and senators. No, Star Atlas is not about that. The framework which better describes Star Atlas in our current state of the game is the feudal system. I believe that most of you guys remember your history classes about how the feudalism worked in Europe. As soon as the Roman Empire fell to the barbaric invasions, the central power in Rome fell apart. And the different leaderships inside each region of Europe and the Asia and the different many territories that Rome owned became suddenly independent. And power became very pulverized. Like the regional leader, the feudal lord, as it was called, was like a king in his region. He was the law, he was the reference of political power. And only very rarely the feudal lords teamed up together to fight a foreign invasion, to find a common enemy, or to try a common enterprise. And in Star Atlas, something quite like that happens, with addition of a very complex democratic system added to this pool. Because we won't have feudal lords in Star Atlas. Well, I hope so, not so early, unless we have a evil galactic empire trying to conquer everyone. But at the end of the day, in our early days of Star Atlas, we'll have thousands of regions with a few political entities inside them, which gonna be directed by the players living in that region. So yes, basically, we'll have our power, the guild's power dispersed through the territory in Star Atlas, and everyone will be fighting first to consolidate the power in their region at the first moment at least. This is what is called the regional DAO. The regional DAO will be the most important DAO for players inside the game. The common player, if he's an actual uh, political inspired entrepreneur inside their region, he will actually be able to see the effects of his votes, of his decisions, of his guild inside his regional DAO. And this is actually a very interesting point because it's one of the main discussions happening in Star Atlas right now. How many regions will there be? Because we know how many polis there are. We know that's 360 million. But if we actually try to imagine, if we knew how many regions there would be, we could roguely establish how much polis would you need to actually own a region. And that's a, let us say, $1 million questions for the guilds, the DAOs, and everyone interested in the political game of stocks. And recently, Michael said in an interview that he's struggling with this question because from one side of the spectrum, they want the universe to be procedurally generated. He wants to have an ever-growing world that will be able to expand and players will be able to discover new things, new worlds, and help the exploration grow. On the other side of the game, we have the need of scarcity. As we know, Star Atlas is based on economic and a real economical gameplay. So yes, we need there to be scarcity of the assets, otherwise our economy will collapse. But at the end of the day, he said that there will be many, many stellar systems, which entails that we'll have many, many different regions. And by having many different regions, we'll have an expanded base for gameplay inside the political domain. Because the more regions, more polis will be dispersed through the regions, and the players that owns even a little bit of polis will be able to participate in the game of the region politics. And that's just a parenthesis here. That's what I find really interesting because in Star Atlas, everyone will have a place to influence in the game. We are just talking focused on Polis right now and just superficially, if we may say. But yeah, if you want just to play the political game of a region inside Star Atlas, you can actually profit from this. You can actually be relevant and do your whole gameplay focused on spending and making treaties inside the region because the region level of gameplay in Star Atlas will be very rich. And here we can go now through what the region DAO will do. The region DAO will be the main place for every common player, as I have established before. The regional DAO will be able to set taxes. And as we were talking, taxes is a really interesting feature and a really important feature inside the game, which is based on land property owning. You know, as I like to say in many presentations, you can actually screw someone game through the use of police due to taxes. Let us say, for example, that you are looking to be a manufacturer of Pierce, of the Pierce manufacturer. And you see it as an opportunity that you are an Ustur player, you play in the Ustur faction. And well, there won't be many players able to craft Pierce ships inside the Ustur faction. So yeah, you see that as an opportunity. You dare risk your assets going forth and back through the high risk zone until you are able to acquire the fame and the XP inside the Pierce manufacturer. You grind the hair materials for the Usturs the inside the Mood faction. And yes, you bring out those assets, you import goods, you make loans to leverage your activity inside your territory. You build your factory, you start producing the goods, and then the regional DAO decides that no store, no mood manufacturer will be allowed. Or, well, okay, let's say the guy is nice. He just tax you 100% on every raw material that you import to make your fabrication. You are screwed. You simply lost all the investments you have made. You won't be able to profit using the activity that you designed to be your opportunity inside the game. And this is just an example of what's gonna happen inside the regional DAO play. And yes, we will see many different groups inside the region because everyone who owns land inside the region and own policy will be able to participate in the regional DAO. They will actually try to make groups. They will actually try to develop relationships. And the cool thing about the regional DAO is that the regional DAO is really scary because, as you see, you are playing the regional DAO, but you need to look forward to your enemies, the other factions, which will likely try to seize your territory, to attack you, to embargo your goods, to try to gank your supply routes and things like that. On the other hand, you have your neighbors, people who are also interested in competing with you through taxes, through political dominance, through the influence in the main faction DAO. So yeah, Polis regional DAO will be something really interesting to play on. And the other cool thing about the Polis regional DAO is that it actually will have a treasury. And you can use this treasury to build up policies on the political, on the security level, on the custom goods level. You'll be able to make treaties with other DAOs in order to protect each other and in order to bring awareness and power together, to bound together with other regions. and things like that. It is a really interesting stance of gameplay, and it's very rich. And most likely, since your guild will have a base inside the regional DAO, every single person will be able to engage and fight and feel the effects of the political decisions made in the regional DAO levels. And I think that's good if I pause right now for a question about the regional DAO before we move on to the faction level.
That
Oof,
was
take a
awesome, man.
breath. Take a breath, Newt.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys,
yeah.
I get
Drink
excited
some
and start
water.
talking.
Drink some water, man. Yeah, I think it's great. I love that you're covering this because I don't think most of the people understand that when you will be playing Star Atlas, you will be spending most, if not all, of your time inside a regional DAO, which is not the. It's part of the bigger picture, but it's where you will develop your day-to-day business or whatever you want to do, and it directly affects you in what you're doing day to day. So I love that you covered this, and I think that a lot of knowledge is shared in this.
Yeah, and the regional DAO is really important because, well, you sell your goods, everything you mine, everything you find in the regional DAO level. You need to buy the goods that you need in the regional DAO level. So the taxes, the policies, the treaties you have, everything you sell, you produce, or want to acquire will be at the regional level. So since your guild will be based there, it will influence a lot. And I can already envision people trying to mess up other guilds' operations. Like you see, if you are a military guild and you see that a producer guild, a builder guild, a guild with a big factory, let us say something like the Viking Guild or the Athea Industries, and they see that they can't overcome then in the economical level, they'll try to hit their operations on the political level through the taxes. So yes, there is another layer of complexity and the richness inside the game through the uses of the regional DAO political power.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions about the regional DAO, I think this is your moment before we move on to the next thing in the agenda for today. So feel free to open your mic or chat on the Atlas Brew. But yeah,
Somebody just asked if the tax will be implemented for the buildings relative to the regions during Cream. Like if the local DAO will exist, if there be, because apparently there's going to be some, the Cream will have some sort of local component to it. Like you'll pick which um, manufacturer you're working with. So will that have any relevancy to like any local DAOs or yeah, that was the question.
That's actually a great question. And we don't have notice about the implementation of the regional DAO just yet. We know that the first DAO that will be able to function inside the game is the main DAO, the Star Atlas DAO, which is we will be seeing soon, like maybe at the end of this month, beginning of March, if I'm not mistaken. But no, so far we don't have any news about the start of those features inside Cream. And it would be awesome, right? You just start and see the regional DAOs inside Cream. But I don't think that they will implement this just yet because it's really important for the regional DAO that we have established stellar system inside the game, an actual map that let us know who is part of each region inside the game, how the map of the game will look like.
Yeah,
we
that's what
have
I was
a
thinking as well. It'll come later.
yeah, we have a nice question here. We don't have like an exact answer, but we can theory craft about it. Again, this is not like the official Star Atlas team answer, but theory crafting. And the question is, how big is the region of a regional DAO? I think you thought about this, Jose.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting question. And yeah, we can do some theory crafting about that. What we know so far? We know that one planet will be composed of a few land parcels. You actually want a piece of the planet. And one planet will belong to a stellar system. And I think we don't have this disclosed yet, but I think that the regions will be composed of stellar systems. We'll have the main faction level, which will be composed of a few stellar systems. And I believe that the smaller unity of political governance or political control will be the stellar system. So I believe this is not an actual answer from the people of Star Atlas, the team, but I believe that we'll see each region being composed of at least one stellar system.
Nice.
I have
That
another
would make
question. Do you think people are going to be able to be a part of multiple regional DAOs? Like they kind of they put a couple polis into a bunch of regional DAOs and they gain taxes from a bunch of different regions, I guess.
I like where we are going with this. This is actually a really naughty way a line of thinking because yes, one of the main strategies that I see happening in Star Atlas, especially regarding the multi-faction DAOs, will be being part of multiple regional DAOs. And we might see some really wicked stuff like let us say that you are a member or your guild has positions on two opposing DAOs, regional DAOs, and you can actually scheme a war where you can vote stuff on the defendant regional DAO to actually make them lose the war against the attacker which you are also supporting. So this way you would be able to clean the other political parties inside your defendant regional DAO while you attack with the majority of your forces on the attacker DAO, which you have full control of. You know, yeah, Polis gameplay can be very very complex on the scenario.
Thanks for answering that, Newt. Appreciate it.
All right, I think we can move to the next.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the
we
next
won't be able to
is
cover everything. We won't be able to
yeah.
cover everything.
Yeah, my wife is actually looking really angry at me right now because we are on
uh,
a vacation. So yeah, let's go right into the faction now because I don't have much time. Sorry guys, I
yeah,
wanted to stay here the whole night, but you know, wife can be more scary than a C11.
yeah,
So yeah,
man, yeah, definitely.
we
uh,
have the let us say the creme of the la creme, the faction DAO. Guys, the faction DAO is a huge structure inside Star Atlas. Not only for its treasury, which we already discussed, as you guys can imagine, it will receive part of the taxes from all different regional DAOs that compose the faction DAO, but also due to its unique properties. The faction DAO is actually the king inside the feudalist framework. He's the guy, the faction DAO will be able to establish limitations for the regional DAO's political power. So, for example, we can vote on max taxes on goods inside the faction DAO. Like, no regional DAO will be able to tax a region for more than 10% on any good and stuff like that. So yeah, the faction DAO is actually really powerful. It actually has the power to control the limits of the regional DAOs. And that's only due to this feature, the faction DAO would be strong, alongside, of course, with its immense treasury. But the faction DAOs actually has a really interesting power, which I like to call macro movements. The faction DAO, if it meets a few requirements, is enabled to do some big moves inside the game, which will buff the entire fleet of the faction in a said region of the game. The economical paper actually lists 4 different movies, and I won't go through all of them, but they are related to the conquering of a territory inside startups. And it's really interesting because you reading the economical paper, you can actually see that this is a really, really important movement inside the game. Because when we are talking about a faction DAO moving, we are talking about a majority of players actually raising enough political support to make a machine as big as the faction DAO moves. And that entails a lot of police moving together with this. So when something like that happens, it will trigger large-scale events inside the world of example of this. When you set a macro movement, it's like you shot a fire with the barrel of your revolver, of your Desert Eagle for the Counter-Strike players here. You actually used one of the bullets you have. And the economical paper said that there will be a limit of how many movements the faction can make inside a designated time frame. So, for example, let us say that I am a mood, and my faction used the occupy command to start a war with the Ustur faction. We actually used one of the macro movements of our faction. So the other factions knows that we have one macro movement less, which entails that we have one less global buff for our faction. So our border as a mood, or other boards as a mood are vulnerable to an attack from the Oni faction, let's say, something like that. So yes, the faction level gameplay will be deep, very, very expensive. Because when a faction moves, they will try to seize control of one territory. And the control of one territory, as we were talking about, is the control of one stellar system. And you guys would ask me, Nut, why the hell would we try to move this giant machine to find enough political power to risk our assets and try to conquer one of those regions? Well, because when you do that, when you actually manage to conquer a region, you'll be able to share the spoils of your victory between your guilds and allies. It's just like the Crusades in the Middle Age. The Crusaders would go inside territories and seize the control and give them to the nobles' families which supported the crusade. And in Starath, this will happen, but we are talking about real money. And those wars will be long. The economical paper actually says that there are different phases of conquering a territory inside Star Atlas. I won't be going through them because this is particular to the fighting and war gameplay, but the whole process will take at least 2 months. So yes, if you start using your macro movement inside one war frontier, you will be vulnerable through the whole 2 months inside all the other frontiers from your faction. And your treasury will be exposed, your territories will be exposed. So yeah, faction level gameplay, political gameplay, is for the big boys. It's for the region, it's for the regional leaderships, it's for the big guilds leaderships. And I envision that whenever a macro movement of a faction DAO actually happens, we'll see the effects on the whole metaverse of Star Atlas. And I don't think that they will be able to use them too much because it actually requires a lot of support from the members of the faction. Just like in the feudalism, only a big enough cause would unite the whole community of feudal lords in order to fight, in order to unite enough to promote the movement of a faction level DAO. I imagine that if someday one of the big DAOs or one alliance of DAOs actually manages to seize enough support and police power to actually be a majority of the votes inside a faction, we'll see some crazy, wild stuff inside our metaverse. any points about the faction level DAO, guys? You can still hear me, right?
I can hear you, Newt.
Yeah, we can hear you. You can take a water drinking pause or caipirinha drinking
Yeah,
pause.
yeah. No,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
need to ask for another category.
We have a question
Yeah.
from the Ooster King. He's asking if he stakes his Polis into a regional DAO, does that mean he won't be able to stake his Polis votes into a local DAO? And I know this is more speculation, but more so like what do you think? Because we don't have that official Star Atlas answer. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, we will have different pools. Espera só um pouquinho. Sorry guys, we have different pools inside the Star Atlas metaverse, but we don't know how the capital will move between those pools. We don't know how the rewards will work, and unfortunately, I can't answer with much conviction about that right now. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. It's a pretty tough question.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
How are
question,
you?
though, Ooster King.
Yeah. How are you with time, man? I know that you're in vacations.
Yeah,
Don't mind,
guys,
man. I don't want to keep
I'm
you here a lot more.
I'm actually sorry, guys. I need to go right now,
No
but
problem, man. No
we can
problem.
do
No
a
problem.
part two next week. I don't
Yeah.
know, Santi,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we can start from this point on. Sorry, guys. Really sorry about this,
Yeah.
but I really need to go right now.
No
But
worries.
it
It
Yeah.
was
was
exactly an
awesome.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
an
love
hour.
this. I love talking about Polis. You guys know how much I love you guys. Love Polis. So yeah, let's close this here today. And sorry if I can't answer more questions, but we'll be back next week or another opportunity and go through the rest of the content. Okay?
That's
Appreciate you,
true.
Newt, and enjoy your vacation, man.
Thank you, guys. See you later. Bye bye.
So
See ya, man.
we are. I'm not closing before dropping a little announcement for everyone. We have a special event on Friday. I know that this has been requested by the community a lot, so I decided to do it this Friday. And we are going to do a special event called Working at Star Atlas. We will mainly cover what it is like to work at Star Atlas, to be part of the team, what is like what is our hiring process like, what are our company values, what is our culture, what is our work environment. And I have a special guest from the Star Atlas team. I will be joined by Kelsey, that is the head of HR at Star Atlas, and Steven, that is he's the head of talent at Star Atlas. So I think that it will be a very nice event because it has been requested a lot lately. I know that you guys want like more details on how the Star Atlas team functions, how are we structured, like I said, what is our work environment and everything. So I think that we will have no better person than Kelsey, that he said yes to my proposal of joining. In fact, he wanted to host an event like this, and so I really appreciate having people like Kelsey in our team. It's great, and I created the event. I'm sharing it on the Atlas Brew, and please put interested if you are interested in joining. So you will receive a notification when we start on Friday, and yeah, we will basically cover everything we can regarding what it's like to work at Star Atlas and our internal team. So it will be an open conversation. We will have, like I said, Kelsey from our HR team and Steven, that is also from the HR team. He's the head of talent. And I think it will provide a lot of great insight for the Star Atlas community as a whole, and maybe some of you are interested in working at Star Atlas and are a little scared on what could happen if you get an interview with Kelsey or Steven or anyone from HR. So you will be able to speak directly with them, and I feel like it will be a valuable event for the community because you guys have been requesting it, and yeah, that's mainly it. We wish we could have Jose for more time with us today, and but vacations are vacations. The wife is the wife, and we will have a part two of this event probably in the next Atlas Brew. We'll cover what is left to cover. It will be mainly like maybe we can get a little bit into the tokenomics and the Star Atlas DAO as a whole, like as the big picture. So yeah, that's mainly it. Not sure if anyone has as well any closing thoughts. If there's anyone else, anything else you guys want to discuss before we close, feel free to open the mic. Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys for doing these events on Wednesdays now. These are really good. I sometimes when there's not a town hall, I kind of I need my Star Atlas fix.
Yeah.
So this is really nice. Thank you, Santi.
Yeah, I know. I do as well. So we don't have a town hall on Friday, but we have the Working at Star Atlas event. I think it's going to be fun. And so yeah, we'll post the link again on the Atlas Brew and also internal chat. Feel free to click on interested if you're interested. And yeah, it's going to be fun. So yeah, nothing else from my side. I really appreciate everyone being here. We will continue hosting events today. Today, no, every week. And yeah, the Atlas Brew is going to happen as well next Wednesday, edition number 3. I think we will cover what we have left from this one, and also I think we are going to have a town hall next Friday. So yeah, that's the schedule for us, and we have more cool stuff on the pipeline as well that I can't announce right now. But yeah, it's going to be a fun week this week. We still have more things to come. And so yeah, see you all on Friday, and power to the people.
And stick it to the man. Let's go.
Let's go. See you, friends. Thanks for joining.
See you, friends.